What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of A Narcissist Explains. I am Lee Hammock, the self-aware diagnosed narcissist. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about how therapy can actually make a narcissistic person worse. How therapy can add to the arsenal that a narcissistic person uses. Like, subscribe for more. Thank you. So I've said this before in a few different videos that therapy does not necessarily make a narcissist or a toxic person better. And if you're new here, I'm a narcissist. I have narcissistic personality disorder, and I've been in psychotherapy for the past 4 years. Sometimes therapy gives people an excuse to be bad people, and they can say, "Hey, I went to therapy. The therapist said I was okay. You actually the narcissist. You're actually the toxic person." Or they can make up some BS that the therapist said, because the therapist can't share information with you unless it's allowed, right? If they come home from therapy and y'all get into an argument, or you're trying to confront them about something, they can completely shut down and say, "Hey, my therapist said I don't have to talk to you if I don't want to." That's therapy for you. Therapy can actually help add tools to a narcissist arsenal. So just because you get that toxic person or that narcissistic person into therapy does not necessarily mean that that person is going to come out, a better person. Because I tell this to people all the time, therapy is tough, y'all. It just is. Therapy is pretty much finding a helpful stranger online that you trust your deepest, darkest secrets to. Stay strong, and I hope this. So, making a narcissist worse, or just not necessarily making a narcissist worse, but therapy is not the end-all, cure-all, be-all that people think it is for narcissistic people, for toxic people. I think a lot of people, even in my comment sections, throughout all my platforms, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere, all my throughout all my platforms, narcissistic people, like, everybody wants to know, like, how to get them to go to therapy? Will therapy work for them? Therapy doesn't work for narcissists unless they want it to. They want it to work for narcissists for themselves. First of all, getting them to acknowledge that they are the issue is going to be a huge thing. Do they know that they are the problem? Yes, they know they are doing you wrong. The narcissist will 100% understand the difference between right and wrong. They know that they are doing you wrong. Because if you did the same thing to them that they are doing to you, they wouldn't tolerate it. It would be wrong. They know it's wrong. But it's easier to blame you than it is to take accountability. Accountability to narcissistic people, even to myself, is like kryptonite. I don't like it. It hurts. It stinks. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to touch it. It's like, it's icky. Accountability is icky. You know what I mean? If you don't know what kryptonite is, it's Superman's weakness. But when you're dealing with toxic people, therapy, I think people think, because you see me in therapy, you see Ben Taylor over at Raw Motivations in therapy. You see, I don't know if HG Tutor's in therapy. Sam Vaknin, he might actually be a therapist. I'm not sure. I know he's a psychologist. Sam Vaknin's got something going on, where he's super smart. But you see all that. You want people to be like that, right? And there are a lot of more self-aware narcissists out there, y'all. There just are. There are. It's not just me and Ben Taylor and Sam Vaknin and HG Tutor and Cluster B Milkshake. There's a lot of people out there. It's just like we're the ones that being most open about it, and most of us are in therapy. Like me, I'll be in therapy for the rest of my life, and I'm fine with that, y'all. But therapy, I tell this to people all the time. Therapy has made me a better narcissist. And now people are going to just like, what? Better narcissist? No, Lee. If anything, I think it made you less of a narcissist. No, y'all. It's a personality disorder. It does not go away. It does not escape. It does not go away. I have just learned I don't look at it as something bad anymore. So me personally, I don't look at narcissistic personality disorder like it's bad. I just don't. I have had to convince my mind that it's not a disorder. It's actually, or it's not an illness. That's why I call it healness, mental healness. I don't look at it as an illness. I know it's not a mental illness anyway, but like we'll get into that sooner or later. But it's a personality disorder, but I just feel like it makes me a superhero. I look at it as a superhero. That's how I envision my mind. I know people are gonna be like, "Lee, that's so egotistical of you to think that you're a superhero." Find me a better way to deal with narcissistic personality disorder, y'all. Find me a better way to look at it that leads you to helping thousands of people, having almost 2 million people that follow you online across all platforms. Find me a better way to deal with that, then, y'all. Because I had to morph my mind into doing that. But some people don't do that, y'all. They look at it as a disorder. They look at it as an illness. And they look at it as something that's wrong with them. And they use that against you, even if they go to therapy. They go to therapy, pick up new terminology, pick up new words, and they come home and use them on you. They go to the world and use them against the world, to gaslight the world, to manipulate the world, to use the world as supply, as fuel for them to fuel their narcissistic, devious schemes and things of that nature. So therapy can 100% make a narcissistic person worse if they don't choose to use it for good. My therapist said, use your powers for good. And I said, look, I'm going to do that. And she said, use your powers for good because she knows I look at it how I look at it. She used that terminology for a reason. She said, use your powers for good. Because I told her I felt like I look at myself as a superhero. She said, that's fine as long as you use your powers for good. You have to teeter the line, y'all. Like a lot of people go to therapy. Some narcissistic people go to therapy. You go to marriage counseling with a narcissist. Oh God, y'all be just, I don't know. Y'all be wanting to go to marriage counseling. It doesn't work like that. Marriage counseling with a narcissist does not work because you end up, this is how marriage counseling typically goes with an unaware narcissist. They go in there, gaslight the damn therapist into thinking that you are the issue, thinking you are the problem because you have a marriage counselor that doesn't understand narcissistic personality disorder or toxic traits. They'll just say, hey, if you try communicating with them, they're really open to communication. Like, what the hell do you think we're doing here? Yes, I've tried communicating with them. They don't listen. They don't want to communicate with me. You see, I see what the issue is in your marriage. You're the problem. See how you got aggressive right there? And I just asked you a simple question. And the narcissist is sitting over there like this. I told you you were the problem. Now, I have an unbiased source. Evil laugh. You see how it works right there. Sometimes therapy gives narcissistic people a crutch or an excuse for their behavior. I'm a narcissist. What more do you expect of me? I'm a narcissist. I can't change who I am. So if you stay, you have to deal with who I am and what I do. You have to put up with me. I'm a narcissist. They'll use that to do bad things, y'all. They just will. It's not necessarily, I keep telling people, it's not necessarily a good thing to have an aware narcissist because there are a lot of self-aware narcissistic people. They're not good people because they feel like they don't have to be because they have a disorder. Now they have the excuse. I've been professionally diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. So this is why I treat you the way I treat you. Deal with it. And then guess what? You're trauma bonded. So guess what? You stay and you deal with it for as long as you want to deal with it. You stay, you process that, and you deal with it, and it hurts you. Typically it hurts you in the long run. But this is part of this is part of the dynamic that you have to deal with when you're talking about narcissists. It just is. Honestly, think about it. When you're dealing with toxic people, narcissistic people, how does it normally go? When you try getting into therapy is a huge thing. Getting into therapy is a huge monumental step. Now keep them in therapy. I have to be in therapy for the rest of my life. Go watch Raw Motivations. He'll tell you he'll be in therapy for the rest of his life and he's fine with it. Is it tough? Therapy is tough, y'all. You go into therapy, you go try to work through trauma. Therapy is pretty much, finding a therapist is pretty much finding a helpful stranger, a qualified helpful stranger on the internet to share your deepest, darkest secrets with and your trauma with. You see how that works right there? You see how it works? Narcissistic people don't, I'm just telling you, y'all, it is a stage where you have to understand it. You have to feel it right there. Understand it. Feel it. Deal with it. A lot of toxic people, they go through stages. They go through situations like this where, they have to, therapy is not the end all be all. It really isn't. It's not the end all be all, heal all, fix all. So if you get a narcissist therapy, you need to go to therapy. If you're dealing with a narcissist, you need to go to therapy. Regardless if they go, you need to go to therapy. Especially if you've been in it for a long time and you tolerated so much mental abuse, sometimes physical abuse, emotional abuse, you need to go to therapy. This is not a slight on you. This is to try to help you heal. You need to go to therapy because you absolutely need to 100% go sit down in a therapist chair and work through your issues and work through the problems because there's a lot of things to say about you staying in a toxic situation for an extended period of time. There is. The codependency, the whatever you want to call it, being an empath, whatever you want to call it. Being an empath, sometimes it will get you taken advantage of. It just will. 100,000%. That's why I'm saying right now, understand that empathy will be used against you. You want to get them to therapy, and sometimes sometimes the narcissist will go step into the therapist's office one time and say that they're healed, 2 times and say that they're done. Hey, I did twice. They said, look, clean bill of health. They actually wanted me to pass them your information because they wanted to talk to you. They said that you were the issue, you were the problem, and things like that. So they want to deal with you. So if you're dealing with the narcissists, toxic people, whatever, understand that they're going to try to paint you as the problem always, because they're going to look at it. Because it's easier to blame you than it is to take accountability. Let's wrap it on up from the beginning. You see how that works right there? Wrap it on up like a Christmas present from the devil. I'm not a devil. Anyways, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. I really, truly appreciate every single one of y'all. As much as I learn from y'all, man, as much as I learn from y'all, as much as you learn from me, I learn even more from you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning this out. Peace.